Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. If you don't know me, I've been rank 1 in Wild Rift all solo queue, and I've been a 5-role sovereign on 5 different accounts in one season all solo queue. And today I'm going to be talking about ADC farming and how high elo ADCs always have the most gold. These are some of the concepts that we're going to cover with examples throughout the video. Additionally, there's a Google Doc linked in the description that gives you information on all of the key concepts you need to understand in Wild Rift and videos that I have created associated with those concepts for you to learn from. Lastly, the link in the description also gives information on my coaching if you're interested in that. Anyways, let's get right into the video. This first clip shows you what you want to do after winning a fight. So after you've won a fight, you want to take as much as you possibly can from the side of the map that you won the fight on. Take the jungle camps, take the waves, take turrets like you see us doing here. But then after that, you want to make sure you recall before the enemy are able to respawn so that they can't punish you and kill you. Then once you've done that, you're going to use the fact that you have the push on topside. So again, we won the fight topside, we pushed the lane topside, which means the enemy have to respawn topside. Because of that, we now have the opportunity to go somewhere else, such as mid lane, and play then around taking this mid lane turret. And you're going to see, through this, we're able to get a lot of poke on the mid lane turret, get additional waves here, and then my Nami gets the most insane bubble of all time, which saves my life, and we're able to end up getting, some decent value here. But basically what you can see is the fact that we'd won the fight topside, and we took everything from topside that we possibly could, gave us the opportunity to then get to mid lane first, which gave us mid lane pressure, and then allowed us to again play around trying to take that mid turret. And again, Nami saving my life like an absolute goat. A lot of people ask me when it's okay to farm your jungler's camp as a laner, especially as an ADC. And generally speaking, you can farm it past 6 minutes. Usually that's going to be all right, but mostly only when they're not there. So in this situation, for example, my jungler is fighting in the mid lane. There's no reason for me to leave his camps up for a long period of time when I can just farm them all myself. Oftentimes you just want to farm the small camps and leave the buff, but my jungler is getting the enemy blue buff and he's pretty far away already, so I don't mind taking that. So again, farm your teammates' camps typically when he's on the other side of the map or fighting and being really aggressive on another side of the map. Don't farm his camps when he's obviously literally like right there, or else he's probably going to get tilted and potentially try to int you. When you're farming a side lane as an ADC, oftentimes there's going to be a camp and a wave. So this is another time where it's okay to farm jungle camps because my jungler's on the other side of the map, as you can see here. But you want to farm the wave before you farm the camp. The reason for this is the wave will eventually die. Whether the wave dies to your minions or dies to your turret, it will die. Obviously, the camp is going to stay there until someone touches it, and you don't have any reason to think someone's going to touch it. So you want to first get the wave, and then get the camp after you get the wave, as you see me doing here. Then an additional concept that's important to understand. After taking one wave in a lane, oftentimes there's going to be another wave that follows, mirroring your own wave. So if we look right now when I'm clearing this wave, the previous wave, which is right here, as we're clearing this wave, you can see that the next wave from my map is coming. I can see it at my tier 1 turret right now. And you can use the fact that you can see your own turret or your own wave at your turret, like here it's at our tier or our inhib, to know that their wave is currently at their inhib. And so then by knowing that, I know when this next wave starts to reach the middle point of the lane, that their wave is going to be on the middle point of the lane. And so then I end up getting that wave as well. So obviously we get a turret here because there's a free turret to take after that. And then we continue to stay. So as you see, another concept that's important to understand is using things like a dragon as a distraction. So because the dragon's about to spawn and my team's already having control over the dragon, I use the fact that the enemy are distracted by the mid and the dragon to just get nearly all of this turret. Now, Twisted Fate does end up coming, and so we don't quite get the whole turret. But again, using dragon as a distraction so that you can get things on the opposite side of the map. You're often going to want to do this if either, again, your team already has the dragon for free like that, or your team is too far behind and you don't want to contest dragon. So again, from this clip, you can see that you want to farm the wave before the camp. You also want to use your waves that you see on your map to know where the enemy waves are because they're going to be mirrored. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you use things like dragons as a distraction to get more gold on other parts of the map when you don't want to contest dragon, which again is going to be when your team's already got it for free or when your team is too weak to contest it. Another important way to get gold, especially right after lane phase, is by going to the opposite side of the map to get gold. Oftentimes people ignore the Baron lane and think that you have to stay in the dragon lane at all periods in time as an ADC. But there's going to be 2 key times when it's actually okay to go to the opposite side. One situation is going to be when your turret's already been taken and you don't really have anything that you can get from the map, maybe because you're so much weaker than the enemy laners, like in this situation, or maybe you've already pushed a wave. The other situation is going to be when you're winning lane really hard. You already take your turret in lane, like you take the enemy turret in lane, and then you push the wave there right away. So after you've either pushed the wave and taken the turret, or you're just backed off of your lane because you're too weak, you can recall and then go to the Baron lane and then play for the Baron lane turret. And you can see here we use the fact that we'd recalled and get to the, gotten to the Baron lane so quickly to get an entire wave and to get a Baron lane turret. People often ask me what to do when they want to go mid lane as an ADC, but their teammates keep going mid. All you really have to do in these situations is go to a side lane and push out that side lane, and then you can go to mid after the side lane's push. So let your teammates go mid and find gold on other parts of the map. It can be bot, it can be top, wherever you see waves to be taken or turrets to be taken, do that. So here again, we just stay on the side lane here rather than going and grouping in mid lane. Kayn, because he sucks, tries to kill us when he's never going to, but that's besides the point. We continue to stay and get gold from this part of the map. The enemy over rotate mid, and so we're able to get a free turret here. And then we go towards mid lane. Now you can see, because I've already pushed out top lane, so even if one of my teammates is covering here, it doesn't matter. I can share gold with them at this point because I already got the gold from top side. So when your teammates go mid, just go to a side lane, get the gold, get the turrets, get whatever you can on that side lane, and then when that side lane's been pushed, use the fact that it's pushed to then go mid lane, and either you'll get gold for free in a turret like that, or you'll at the very least share gold with your teammates. But again, it's fine to share gold because you've already gotten the gold from the side lane. In a lot of these clips, you see me taking gold from other parts of the map after I get gold from my lane. But this is going to be a situation where you want to take even more from your own lane. And that's going to be when the enemy have a big numbers disadvantage on the side of the map that is your own dual lane side. That's going to be when the enemy support rotates, when your jungler's on your side of the map and the enemy jungler's away, that type of thing. So here you're going to see initially we have a lot of numbers on this map and my teammates are covering other lanes. So I'm just simply sitting here trying to see if I can find some type of pick. I end up blowing the Jhin Ghost here, as you can see. And then we use the fact that we notice Rel on top side and their jungle on top side and their top laner on top side to get a free dual lane turret. So again, sometimes you take gold from other parts of the map, but other times when the enemy overextend and overput their resources into, other sides of the map, you simply take everything you can from your own lane, such as a tier 2 turret at only 8 minutes when we're not even winning the game. The most important concept to understand when it relates to getting gold is the concept of cycling. What I mean by cycling is getting the lane pushed in your lane and then using the fact that the lane in your lane is pushed to go to another lane, and then using the fact that you push that lane to go to another lane and continue cycling across the map. This allows you to get gold from many parts of the map. So as you see here, we push bottom lane, but then after we push bottom lane, we use the fact that bot's pushed and the enemy will be stuck bot to go towards mid and get mid gold. And notice how as I'm cycling, I actually take jungle camps on this side of the map as well. Which will happen not quite yet, but after we push mid and then go back bot. So we push mid there, now we go back bot, but before going bot, we take this camp because again, my teammates are fighting really hard on top side. And so we use again the fact that we've now pushed mid to go back to bot. We use the fact that we push bot to then go back to mid. And again, we take a scuttle here, a little risky, but we take the scuttle. Then we go to mid, and then we use the fact that we now have a recall to obviously recall after pushing mid. And okay, now I've pushed mid, I've recalled, I go top. I push top, I take the jungle camps on top. I then use the fact that I'm taking the jungle camps in a path that leads me towards mid to get mid. I now use the fact that I've pushed mid to go and help at a fight, potentially in bot. Then I go back mid, and then we use the fact that we push mid to go top. And so this entire situation, you see how we're just constantly cycling between different lanes, pushing out a lane, farming everything on that lane, then everything such as jungle camps leading up to that lane, pushing out the next lane we arrive at, then we go somewhere else, or we recall if we need to recall, and it's just a constant cycle where you're getting an insane amount of gold across the map. It's important to not get sucked into this mindset of constantly farming. At the end of the day, you do need to fight at some point. That point is usually going to be Baron spawn. So as you see, we're at 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Baron has spawned. I do initially go towards bot side because the enemy was showing and the dragon was spawning. But once, again, you hit that 11-minute mark, you want to value fighting way, way more because ultimately you're trying to get mid control and use mid control to get Baron as an ADC. You can occasionally control the side lane of the same, of the Baron as well, but most of the time you're valuing mid control and using mid control to create fights because you farmed so well throughout the game to then be able to get the Baron. So again, before 11 minutes, follow a lot of the tips you saw throughout this video. Once you get to 11 minutes onwards, the tips are still important, but you want to value fighting and Baron control a little bit more. That's going to do it for the video. Again, these are the main tips that you need to follow in order to have more gold as an ADC. And of course, we all know ADCs absolutely love having a lot of gold. Good luck applying these tips. I'll see you in the next video.